Welcome to my presentation on mental health and athletes. My name is Kyle Murphy and I'm an athlete at the University of Akron. Today I would like to talk about the reality in mental health in sports. In sports, the focus is often physical performance, but mental health is an equal vital key. People doesn't realize that we face unique pressures including intense competition, public scrutiny, and high expectations, which can lead to anxiety and depression and burnout. We deal with these every day. It doesn't have to be regular practice. It can be such from a meeting. It can be from a lift. It can be such as just a simple conversation. Athletes are higher at risk for mental health issues when compared to the general population. People doesn't realize that as a young adult, when you first arrive on a college campus, they don't know what to expect. They get the wake up call and knowing that you're really on your own. And some people can't deal with that. Knowing that we're born competitors, but we also don't deal with the scrutiny or the comments or the expectations every day. And sooner or later, it just comes as an overload. At that point, you can't really focus on what you're here for. Now you're focused on about pleasing everybody else's opinions about you. Coaches, teammates, you it doesn't matter. Despite growing awareness, stigma surrounding mental health remains persuasive in the sports community. Many athletes fear being seen as weak or losing their competitive edge if they acknowledge mental health struggles. The stigma can prevent them from seeking the help they need, emphasizing the importance of an open conversation and an educate around mental health. Today, we don't see many athletes doing that. We see athletes that's recently retired or medically retired. All after they realize that mental health plays a big key, knowing that at the end of the day, you have to end up talking to somebody, realizing that you can't do this by yourself every single day. Sometimes it's okay to acknowledge somebody's opinion or a coach's opinion or even a sports psychiatrist. But again, that can overload us and make us think negative to the point where we're seeing so many point of views from people outside of us that we don't recognize our even our own selves. And now we're so stuck up in our mental health that we can't think about the real picture here. Why we're here? What's the mission? I wouldn't be able to focus if I'm thinking about how my coach is thinking about me. That will affect my performance. I can't play with thinking about if I'm going to mess up or not. Making sure I got to be perfect. That would drive me personally completely insane. Athletes are or people supposedly think that athletes are supposed to present themselves as tough. Asking for help seems maybe just a weak. The stigma can lead to stronger negative emotions where to the point where it can affect your sleep. It can affect how you eat. It can affect just your whole bodily function. Because if you affect how you sleep, you can't wake up enough for practice, and you miss practice, then you miss lift, and then now you're getting called up, and it's just all in one. So, like the stigma itself affects us as athletes so much, where we have to practice and keep on practicing, keep ignoring the fact that this is what's happening. Everybody expects us to keep a high head and chin up, and just keep on walking through the storm, which is really not that easy because we only got ourselves. We don't have mom and dad right next to us helping us. Support systems are crucial for athletes dealing with mental health issues. Coaches, teammates, and mental health professionals can provide essential support. helping athletes feel understood and less isolated. Creating an environment where mental health is openly discussed can empower athletes to seek help without fear of judgment. Like, I would say the support is just the support is just so big and such an important factor in this, because without support, who else is gonna help? Some people need help. Some athletes need help where they can't do it by themselves because that's just not who they are. Now, if we can, now it seems that we're not mentally tough enough, and now other players and coaches is asking our capability of be able to work through it. And once they think that, now they think that an athlete is not capable of being on the field or be able to get on the court or even a pool. Just that by itself is just such a big factor because we athletes constantly just keep scrambling around in their own thoughts, wondering how am I supposed to please everybody, realizing that you're such in a drought with yourself. You're just draining yourself with so much negative energy and emotion and thoughts where it's just affecting you to the point where you can't function properly. You're being inconsistent. You're not being the person that you was yesterday. You're seeing a different person each day. Performance peak, high, fluctuating every day. Not be consistent. And in sports, you have to be consistent. That's the biggest thing. If you're not consistent, then you cannot play. You're not usable. They're not going to use you. Intervention is key, and addressing mental health concerns early. Many organization sports teams are now integrating mental health resources into their programs. This includes access to sports psychologists, counseling service, and workshop focused on mental health resilience. Utilizing these resources can lead to better health outcomes and improved athletic performance. I can vouch, I'm one of them. Before, when I first came up here, I thought I was supposed to be one of the greatest. Every athlete has eventually came to the point where it's like I didn't, where we came to the point where we get a realization that we're not the person who we thought we are. And once we think that, now it's just so much negative. And people like at the university, we have Dr. Sam, where he actually sits one on one and helps you. That's just one resource. Some people need that. I will say I even needed that, which is definitely a helpful resource to this day. Intervention is key. Access to counseling is key. For depression and anxiety, the efficacy of even mindfulness based technique is such crucial and so like sufficient, and it's confirmed from these meta-analysis demonstrating moderate to strong effect sizes for reduction of just stress. Just breathings. There's one habit I'll use, one method